Take it away, Bernard.
Bernard, you're on.
The streets around this area were originally settled by the Danes when they came here in the 800s on holiday.
I think they're gorgeous.
Tourists.
On holiday?
Yep. And that's recalled in the street names. Here we are in Lilliput Press on Citric Road, and then you've got Viking Place across the road, Oxman Town Road, Osman Road, Viking Road. And here in Citric Road is Lilliput Press. It's one of the great cultural assets in Dublin 7, and it's right on the doorstep of the new Technological University of Dublin, TUD, next door in Grange Gorman, which is starting to blossom. And the founder of the publishing house here is Anthony Farrell. And the building here we're in was in the early 1900s. It was a depot to teach local women how to scald milk, because at the time there was TB, high rates of TB in the city, and Dublin actually had one of the highest rates of infant mortality in Europe at that time. One of the patrons was Lady Aberdeen. Her husband, Lord Aberdeen, was the last viceroy, and the last Lord Viceroy in Ireland, and he was also a director of the Artisan Development Company, which built all these houses around here from the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s, and his name is remembered in Aberdeen Street.
He was a director of the Dublin Artisan Dwelling Company.
And in the 1940s, the Dublin Bread Company, Kennedy's Bread, Peter Kennedy and Company Limited, were based here, and there was a famous Dublin ditty not alone in Dublin, because a Donegal woman remembered singing that as a child up in Donegal, but the children used to sing the following ditty: "Don't eat Kennedy's bread, it'll stick to your belly like lead. Your mother will wonder, fart like thunder, so don't eat Kennedy's bread." Now, Anthony Farrell is here, and Kelly might have a chat with him.
Hi there, I'm Kelly Bryan with the Blooms Barnacles podcast. Normally we cover everything related to James Joyce's Ulysses, but today we are in Dublin 7 in Lilliput Press, and I'm going to talk to Mr. Anthony Farrell. You are the founder of Lilliput Press, correct?
Certainly, yes.
Yes, okay.
1984. Coming up to our 40th year next year.
So Lilliput Press was born the same year as me.
Good God.
Fantastic.
Now I know your age.
I have heard just this morning Lilliput Press described to me as a very important cultural asset in this part of Dublin. I definitely know you through your Joyce books, which are just over your shoulder there. And I'd love if you could tell me a little bit about how Lilliput Press came to be, a little bit about your history, and how you found yourself in this corner of Dublin.
Oh, well, we began on my mother's farm in Westmeath, where I grew up. I was sent abroad for my education to England, came back to Trinity College, nurtured ambitions to be a writer, and like all good publishers, I was a failed writer. Mm-hmm. And so I went into publishing to see how it worked. And I did an apprenticeship in London for from 74 to 1980, when I got married. I wanted to raise my family, came back here to work for Irish publishers, and then set up my own company when I found that, which I'd always intended to do, but I found that certain writers were not being published who were important to me, and one of them was Hewlett Butler, and the other was Tim Robinson. So on those two great foundation stones, Lilliput rested, and went on from there. I think Blooms Barnacles, our proudest achievement was to bring Joyce home and publish the first Dublin edition of Ulysses in 1997.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which edited by the remarkable scholar Dennis Rose.
Okay.
And we then went on to do his edition of Finnegan's Wake in 2010. So those I would see as the pinnacle of our early achievements. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So there we go. And we came to Dublin in 1989 because I was all the time on the road seeing printers and authors. So
Right.
I needed to be in the capital, so to speak,
Okay.
which is where my own forebears came from. Anyhow, my father's family were originally brewers. We like to think, I think we did discover the pint in about 1780.
Okay.
Yeah.
An excellent discovery.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So do you mostly publish Irish authors, books about topics related to Ireland?
Yes,
Or
the core is anything of Irish interest by Irishmen or other people, like Tim Robinson, who's a Scots Yorkshireman, you know. But Ireland is the focus. It's a country and a culture that's you can encompass in your own lifetime. I think the scale is just right. And Lilliput is just right because it's about little people and big people.
yes. Yes, and I learned from Bernard's book that apparently Lilliput is the name of a real place.
It's a townland in Westmeath where I grew up, and
I
where
didn't-
Jonathan Swift used to spend his summers. He would ride out on his mare from Dublin and spend summers with his
Yeah. That's
in a country house in Westmeath.
I had no idea. I had just spent my life thinking it was just a made up word, but
No, it's a real word. Okay. Well, it's a kind of nonsense word originally, I think. I think invented by his friend Sheridan in Cavan, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a linguist.
All right. All right. And so nowadays here at Lilliput Press, do you have any books that you're especially excited about right now that you're putting out this year?
Gosh, so many. We just produced a wonderful book by Brendan Behan, the quintessential North Dubliner. His gathered writings from the 1950s, which we launched only last week.
Okay. Fantastic.
And it's got great reviews. And what else have we done? I look around me.
Or if there are just any others you're really
Well,
happy
Bill
with.
Whelan's Riverdance we put out at the end of last year.
Okay.
It's the world's highest grossing musical.
Okay.
Written by this genius from Limerick, and it's his life story. We do a lot of memoir and works of recollection, as well as sort of pioneering fiction, like Adrian Duncan, who's an engineer who took to writing and has written 4 books, 2 of which are listed for prizes this year. So we have high hopes for him. We published work in translation by a woman called Melis Bessery, who is a Paris-based writer, writing on Beckett and Joyce. And we bought rights to her books, which we're launching again this summer. We did Beckett last year. We're doing Yeats this year. We'll do Francis Bacon next year. So, the President's Speeches, Michael D. Higgins, Reclaiming the European Street. A remarkable intellectual, a little diffuse, but he comes in for easy criticism. He was talking about the illusion of growth, that economies need to be expanding, and he was hammered by so-called professional economists. But we published a great book called The Growth Illusion about how this is endangering the planet in 1993.
Wow.
And indeed it is endangering the planet. We live in climate crisis right now.
Yes.
So we have quite a broad spread. I like ecological works. We have a wonderful philosopher called John Moriarty, who again was a kind of eco-writer. He wrote passionately about nature.
Yeah, I was very excited to see those. He's a writer I've been meaning to read, so I'm going to take one of those home with me, most likely. So,
yeah. So we have quite a broad spread of subject matter. We do very few children's books, but we publish books that I want my children and my grandchildren to read, because to improve their minds or develop their minds. What else are books for?
Yeah. Yes, and you're a little bookshop here as well as a publishing company, and it's a very cozy spot here.
Oh, thank you.
We
try to make it welcoming. We get footfall, as they say.
Sure.
It's the most Instagrammed building on the north side, I think.
Oh, really?
Because of its corner position, yeah.
Aha. Yeah.
So you get a lot of Japanese people and others.
All right.
They don't come in necessarily, but they photograph us.
All right, I will photograph it. I'll put it on the Blooms and Barnacles Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you have a book that you've published over the years that's like a personal favorite or one that's very close to your heart?
Gosh, so many.
I'm asking you to choose amongst your children and pick a favorite, but
Well, Tones That Are Tender, a wonderful biography of Percy French, who's a sort of forgotten Edwardian songwriter who wrote The Mountains of Morn. There are just so many. John Moriarty's Dreamtime, probably his keynote book, the first one we published in the early 90s. He died in 2013, and his reputation grows and grows. But that is his signal book. Our dear Bernard Neary's Dublin 7.
oh, of course, yeah,
How could we miss that?
yes, no, very
The
very
great-
informative.
The great guide to the whole area
Yeah.
and its culture. Yeah.
And if you have one hope for Lilliput Press in in the coming years, what would it be? Or two or three?
I can pass the torch to someone with the same passion and interest as myself.
Of course, yes.
Which may or may not be my children. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm sure this will be here for many years to come.
Yeah, we hope so. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, Anthony. It's been really
pleasure,
pleasant
Kelly.
talking to you. This is a lovely shop, and
Thank you.
everyone should come.
They should.
Whether they've seen it on Instagram or not.
Yeah, we're open like the Ritz to anyone.
Yeah. No, this is the kind of place you like to find tucked away in a city somewhere. It's just it's cozy and welcoming and yeah.
I think you can. It's a better experience to come in here, browse, and purchase a book than to buy them on Amazon.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Amazon.
But if Anthony wants to say that,
No.
Amazon
You
does
said
sell
it.
books,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, we many times on the podcast we always want to encourage people to go to their local bookshop to get the books we recommend. We have specifically called out Amazon as a killer of small bookshops like this, because an Amazon depot in your city gives it no character, but this is the soul of a city is spots like this. So
Yeah, I mean, the book is essentially an analog object, although it's not digitally produced, but it's got a physicality that is irreplaceable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We do sell ebooks and so forth, but and this is going out digitally, but it's,
yes, yeah.
we like to keep the links. The book goes back at least 1,000 years.
Yes, yeah. No, I'd say I'm definitely a creature of the internet, but I've never enjoyed an ebook as much as holding a physical book in my hands.
Yeah.
I mean, we moved to Ireland this last year and we took our whole library with us, which makes us really annoying people when we ask someone to help us move. But
How many books do you bring?
I don't know. How many do I have, or how many have I read?
Now, how many did you bring?
Oh, how many did I
on your
bring?
trip?
How many did we bring, Dermot?
Criticism.
A wall. One wall.
wall.
From Portland, Oregon, where Powell's books is like
Yeah.
a city block.
Have you ever been to Powell's in Portland?
I haven't, no.
It's called the City of Books. It takes up an entire city block.
Yeah.
And it's amazing antiquarian section. Of course, they've got new things.
Where is it in relation to Seattle?
3 hours south of Seattle,
Okay.
but much cooler than Seattle.
Do you know the great Oregon novel written called Sometimes a Great Notion?
I don't know that one.
Written by Ken Kesey,
Okay,
who lived up there and became famous for the
sure.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But before that, he wrote this great saga about the timber families in Oregon. Yeah, it's an amazing book.
Yeah.
It's the only place in the world, if you go into a restaurant, you can actually visit where your chicken came from before the family came before you eat it. Same with your fish or whatever.
And his name was Colin, and he was very happy before he came to be your dinner.
Yeah. We had a wonderful New York Jewish guy in the other day who now lives in Oregon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he was a delight. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Powell's is a very special place. And it's, I mean, the heart of that city, too, is a bookstore. It's a place where people come together. I used to sit in their coffee shop and just talk to random strange
They
people.
have computer terminals that you have to. If you want to find something, you got to go to the computer,
Oh.
type in the book. You don't have to, but it really speeds up the process.
Okay, how
And it'll tell
interesting.
you it's in the red section.
Fantastic.
So you'll ask
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
people, "Where's the red section?" That's 2 floors up.
Okay.
And and their philosophy section will have, like their philosophy wall for medieval philosophy will be the size of some small bookshelves.
Wow.
So the
Amazing.
level of specialization is just
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I-
second hand and first
And
hand.
who
so you get-
who owns or runs it? Who's
The Powell family.
Yeah,
Emily
yeah.
Powell, I think, is their current CEO.
If that bookshop ever goes, Portland's done as a city.
Yeah.
Oh,
It really is. It's just a
Yeah.
generic
Yeah.
nowhere town.
Their, I think their oldest book that they have there is from the 1450s.
Sure, yeah.
Anne Rice donated her personal library to them
Oh,
when she
wonderful.
died.
Oh,
So
that's
like you
so
can go
great.
and read Anne Rice's Marginalia.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Larry McMurtry, he's the other great writer who is a passionate bibliophile. Who, I think he's dead now, McMurtry. I think, yeah. But yeah, we used to here have evenings called Listen at. Pre-COVID, we had Listen at Lilliput, where we had Tuesday evenings and local musicians came in.
Oh, yeah.
The room holds about 40 people, and they were very popular communitarian events,
Right.
which we've been encouraged to revive, but we'll get around to it.
Yeah, no, I think people need a place to go and
Yeah.
be together. I think
Yeah,
COVID made everybody a little bit,
Wary
I was going to say a little bit mad.
and introverted.
So we're all too, we're all too
and
introverted
conspiracy
though.
driven. Yeah.
Sometimes we need to find a place we can all be introverted
Yeah, yeah.
together. So, no, I think, I do think that it's cliche. I've said it 3 times now, but that sort of small event is the heart and soul of the city. It's where people are inspired. It's where, people meet friends and partners, and it's something the technology can never replace. Is being in a room with 40 other people for a common artistic purpose. So.
Or even at a larger scale. My colleague here in Ada has given me tickets to see Bruce Springsteen,
Oh,
who's my age. He's
Oh.
coming on in the RDS on Saturday.
Right.
Can't wait.
That's very
He
exciting.
gives a 3-hour concert. He's a soul of generosity and
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. Well, enjoy Bruce Springsteen.
I know. Look forward to it.
All right.
Just go to
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we
That's
can
good
wrap
night,
it up.
Turnbull. Bruce.
Before we do,
That's all right.
I want to say thank you so much for talking to me, Anthony. This has been brief but lovely. If people want to find out more about Lilliput Press, where can they find you? Either come here or
Well, physically here, and we have
physically.
a website.
All right.
www.lilliputpress.ie.
All right.
Yeah. And this is the day that's in it. And there is your president on our front page.
He's not president yet.
Dan Doon.
Our once
sorry,
and
your ex-president.
future king.
Dan and Doonbeg.
Yeah.
Well, the locals are very grateful for him providing employment.
May the fourth be with you.
May the fourth be with
May
you.
the 4th be with you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Oh, right.